9/11, I think Coach Houston hit on in a practice there, just never forget. And I think back about 23 years ago where I was actually in an English class, and I heard some people across the room talking about a plane hit a tower, and I was kind of confused, thought maybe I was up in the mountains of Western Carolina, thought maybe a small plane had hit one of the towers up there in the mountains. And then the teacher dismissed class, got back to the dorm room, and saw the news on the television there. And most of our players, we had very few of our players that were even born then, but just always keeping those that we lost that day in our prayers and our thoughts. A horrific event that kind of brought our country together, and just thankful for the people that continue to fight for this country and make this what I consider the greatest country in the world. So I think we always got to take time out to realize that we always think about football or think about our job or think about our own personal lives, but we got to take time out to be thankful for what we have in this country and what we have each and every day, and how blessed we are. So just kind of want to start with that.
Coach, going back to the ODU game, how happy were you with your defensive situation for football on that final drive, tackling them downs and keeping contained everything?
Yeah, the final drive, the fourth and 10 down there at the 9-yard line, you want to go get them right there and end the game right there, but at the same time, if you make a mistake and they go 90 yards, it probably ends the game for you too. So you just kind of want to keep the ball in front of you. The smart play there is, drop 8 and keep the ball in front of you, keep the clock moving, because they got 90 yards to go. They got to get a touchdown, and the clock's running against them. So I thought we did a really good job. Kids didn't panic. We even made some substitutions in there, got a new package in there. Package that we hadn't got in there all game, our NASCAR package, and just the guys did a really good job of getting after the quarterback, and knowing the situation, understanding, what we've repped in practice 1,000 times. I mean, we've been through 2-minute drill, and the good thing, those kids that were on the field, they're not the first time going through that situation. They've been through it, 100 times in practice. They're older kids, they're older players, they don't panic, and they were ready to go win the game for us.
How dangerous is a team like App State coming here after getting crushed down in Death Valley when they come in, because they're better than they played at Clemson?
Yeah, the App State team you see on film from last week is not going to be the same one that shows up here at 4 o'clock on Saturday. I promise you that. Their coaching staff, I have the utmost respect for those guys and the job they've done up there. They've certainly got off our tail the last 2 times we played them, and I expect them to be ready to go on Saturday. So, they'll be prepared. I know that. And as coaches said, and our players, Eli said it yesterday, we got to focus on us and make sure we're prepared and we're ready to go play our best ball. And if we do that, for Saturday to be a lot of fun and be a heck of a game.
Obviously, different personnel this area in college, day of college football, but a lot of the same scheme as what you saw last year. Do you watch last year's film against them?
What's last year's? What's 2021? I mean, Coach Ponce. He was the OC in 2021 there when we played him, and he left to go to Miami for a year and was back last year. So we'll go back and watch our game, how he attacked us there in both years. We go back and watch every game he had last year, and along with the 2 games he's had this year. Obviously, the 2 games he's starting this year are more for personnel and kind of focusing on, okay, here's his tailbacks that he really likes, here's the receivers he likes. I think the quarterback, just the difference between him and this year and last year is I think he's made a huge improvement. I thought he was really good last year. I think he's as good as we might play this year. He's more mobile, agile than me, running the football more, has an option part of his game, can throw the ball out there on the bubbles, take off on the run game. So they do some impressive things, put you in a lot of binds, and we got to be at our best.
How hard is it for the guys to stay disciplined with the stretch, the play action, all the things they throw at you?
Yeah, they're gonna run the outside zone stretch play, and they're gonna take shots down the field. And it doesn't matter, last Saturday they put up 400-something yards against Clemson and 20 points. They're averaging 460 total offense right now. They averaged 475 last year, so they certainly put up the yards. They're averaging about 160 on the ground, so really good rushing attack. We got to do a really good job of just setting the edge, filling our gaps, keeping the cup, and getting those ball carriers on the ground back there. Anderson Castle is a really good running back. He's a high school quarterback. I think he started out there on defense. They've moved him over to the other side of the ball. Hard-nosed runner. Kanye Roberts from East North Carolina here is a get downhill and can take it to the house on you. The tight end's a really good player, all conference. Then the receivers, Caden Robinson, 15, 13 out there, certainly got speed that they can get behind you. So we got to do a good job, of stopping the run game, trying to put them in situations that we know they're going to throw it. I think if they're able to keep the chains moving, stay on schedule, then they got you on their heels. And it's no different to me than an option team. If it's 2nd and 6, they're feeling good. But if it's 2nd and 10, you put the stress on them a little bit. So we got to win the first down and put them behind the sticks.
Coach, you talk about the challenge this week. When you look back, great year defensively last year, and then great 2 showings this year. When they see so much success, how do you kind of keep the guys locked in each and every week to stay motivated and kind of keep that chip on their shoulder, even though they're older by college standards?
Yeah, so many times we talk about, like, hey, we always don't want to look out the rear view. We don't look out the windshield. And sometimes we refer to, like, bad things. Like, hey, we don't want to look back at 23. We want to focus on 24. It's the same here. Like, we got to focus on the next game. We got to focus on App State. We can't take one play from ODU or Norfolk State into this Saturday. We got to focus on our job this week. And we have an older group and the older, players on our side of the ball that's player-led. Those guys know that. You ain't got to talk to them about that. They're focused on App State. They're not worried about ODU, what happened last Saturday, what didn't happen, what play they did or didn't make. They're focused on this Saturday and playing in front of Pirate Nation in Dowdy. So that's the big thing for those guys.
Talk a lot about depth going into the year, especially on the D-line through 2 games. Have you look at participation?
Or precipitation. We might look at that too.
Those charts, do you like how that's gone so far, giving guys rest?
Yeah, I thought we did a poor job on Saturday as coaches, and I'll pull the thumb at me first of substitutions. They didn't sub a lot offensively, and they went fast, and we didn't do a good job rolling guys early. So I think we had about 5 or 6 guys that were over 70 plays, and we let to keep those guys around 50. To me, if we keep getting those guys 75 plays every week, we're going to look up in 3 weeks and we're going to lose somebody. So we like to keep them around the 50 plays so we can keep them fresh all season long. The difference between defense and offense is this. Defensively, I'm pursuing and running the football every single snap. Ball's on the other side of the field. I'm freaking hauling tail to get there and see if I can get on the play. If it happens to break out, I'm going to get it on the ground. Offensively, I may take what they call a smoke break on this side of the field, and I'm not even moving. So I'm basically taking a play off. I might as well be out of the game. So we got to have that depth and keep building it. Last week was a little tougher week just because they didn't sub, so we couldn't sub within a series. They got the ball a few times at midfield, so we wanted to make sure we had our best players in at that point, our starters, so to speak. Not that we don't consider our some of our twos our best players, but we got to do a better job of that moving forward and get back to that. We're getting guys a little, our 2s and 3s a little bit more reps because they can help us. They earn that right in practice every single day. We trust them, and we always talk in this room defensively. It's going to take everybody to get the job done, and that's certainly how we feel. And we got to trust each other to do that. And so as coaches, we got to do a better job rotating those guys, especially early in the game. So when it comes fourth quarter, Siobhan Revel, Zakai Barker, Mike Edwards, they ready to ride. They ready to go finish that game off and win the game in the fourth quarter.
You get a feel from the older guys that they want to really win this game because they haven't beaten App State in the 2 times they had a chance to play them.
Yeah, and maybe not just the older guys, but maybe somebody standing up here in front of you too. I think anytime you haven't beaten somebody, you got a little chip on your shoulder. Yeah. You don't ever try to circle opponents. You always try to focus on the next opponent. But I think if you secretly ask a lot of people around the building, this is one that they really feel like they really want. And we can't do anything or press any more than we have at any other point in time. We just got to go focus on our job. That's including me and doing what we do to make us a good football team, doing what we do to make us a good defense, trying to get stops, trying to get turnovers, making sure we're playing to protect our culture, playing fast, playing physical, and doing those things.
Talk a lot about the offense with pre-snap penalties, and JDB said they've done pretty good with that. How about defensively? Do you feel good about the lack of penalties so far?
So far, I wish Kingston wouldn't have ducked his head the other day, but at the same time he ducked his head and on the target, and it was also he's playing his tail off. So if you're playing hard and you could happen to get a penalty like that, that's going to come. We'll try to do a better job coaching him and try to keep his face out of it and head out of it. But I thought for the most part defensively done a pretty good job there. And we're forcing some penalties on the offense. I think Zakai Barker forced 2 penalties on their guard the other day, just by his blitz and movement there, and the guards having to reach out and grab him. JD caused a hold on the guard as well, just with his pass rush, brought it back a big 3rd down scramble there, and put him behind the stick. So that's been a positive for us at this point.
Looks like it'll be a big crowd. How much can your defense feed off that Saturday?
Well, last year the Rock sold out up there. Their fans, I thought, were certainly into that game. I know our fans won't affect the game this week. I know that they won't be a big part of the game, but our fans are, awesome. Our players they're fired up to be in there. Chad Stevens come up to me the other day. He's like, Coach, they say it's going to sell. I was like, yeah, Chad, I think it will. He's like, I ain't never been here when it's sold out. NC State, there were some still empty seats up there. And it's just a 6-year guy, talking to you like, hey, it's the first time for him. And just the excitement in his voice. I think his grandparents are coming to the game for the first time. Haven't seen him play a college game. And just so I'm excited for those young men. Excited for Pirate Nation. He had a bunch of texts the other night. Just congratulations on the game. Said appreciate it. I'm fired up, not just for our players, but for all of Pirate Nation. And I'm excited how fun this Saturday is going to be. Not just for our players, not just for our program, not just for our university, but for everyone. Everyone in East North Carolina, everyone in Pirate Nation. And these are things we've been building for. Not just us as coaches, not just us as players or administration, our chancellor, but as fans. I mean, the collective. There's so many things that it takes a village to build this program and get it to where it is. And we got so far to go, but this Saturday could be a big step, and we got to continue just to do the things, focus on, the things that got us here and the things that can take us forward, and what I call the culture. Just playing as hard as we can, playing with great effort, playing with great physicality, create a few turnovers, get some third down stops, and staying together. And I think Saturday will be a lot of fun. We could get that and get his contacts in. I think Von's going to be fine. If he picks the first one, he goes to the house and turns the game around. But he works hard on it. He's locked in on it, and I think those things are going to come. He's going to get enough opportunities. People quit throwing at him, and then as soon as he catches a few of those, people quit throwing at him, and they're going to go the other way, and IBM's going to start picking them. Okay, and I feel really good about those guys back there and where they're at. As good as I've ever felt here, and the way they're playing right now, and the confidence they're playing with, and not just those guys. I mean, we got other guys that can walk out there and do it too. Lamp, Tamir Brown, Nash, Devin King in the back, Jordan Huff, Omar Rogers, Jamarli Riddle's playing really well as a freshman. So just excited about that group in the secondary.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate you guys.